It is pretty crazy that the same company that is building this electric SUV was building the Lotus Evora a mere 5 years ago. Take a look at the interior of the Evora and then take a look at the interior of this. Total opposite ends of the technology spectrum. Even the Lotus Emira, the most modern of Lotus sports cars, cannot remotely compare. I was just driving an Emira last week and it did not even have blind spot warning. This has 12 different cameras. This is the Lotus Eletre, and they say it is the world's first electric hyper SUV and preserves their Lotus DNA. So today, we're gonna find out what it's like. This one specifically is the Eletre R, which means it's the really powerful, really fast one. 905 horsepower, 727 pound-feet of torque, 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds, up to a top speed of 165 miles an hour. It's a dual-motor all-wheel drive setup with a 2-speed transmission, and because it is built off of an 800-volt architecture, it's got some pretty quick charging too. Hyper-fast charging can add up to 250 miles in as little as 20 minutes on a 350 kilowatt charger. Total range can do 354 miles if you have the regular one. The R model with over 900 horsepower has substantially less range, more in the 250s to 280 miles of total range. Now, let's go check out some of the really cool details on this electric hyper SUV. We have the keys, well not keys, the card. This is the Euro spec model, so it has a little card here. I believe US models will have an actual key fob when this starts arriving. So this is a Euro spec pre-production one that we have for the day to see what it's like. The styling is pretty wild. This paint is called Blossom Gray, and it is quite hard to capture on a camera how crazy it is. It's got a lot of metallic pearl to it, the pink and blue shades with the gray undertones, and depending where the light is hitting it, it looks really, really crazy. Up front, it's got a very, very aggressive face. So we have these 24 individual little LEDs and the DRL up here, and then we have a headlight down here, and there's a lot of aero. We'll be seeing all the different aerodynamic elements on this electric hyper SUV. Carbon fiber front fascia. These are active grille shutters that open and close when the vehicle turns on for cooling or for better efficiency, and they're this crazy geodesic-like triangular shape. A lot of carbon fiber sculpted up here, and also there are a ton of cameras and sensors on this vehicle. You already see one front camera there. Like I said, 12 cameras. We can go around and count them. It might take us like 20 minutes to find all the cameras though. This one has the blacked out Lotus badge. That is an option you can order, either the yellow one or the black one here. And look at all the crazy sculpting on the hood here, how it drops in. It's all functional. More carbon fiber. It is a little bit amusing to me how much carbon fiber they put on a big, heavy SUV. I know in the industry now it's just like a expensive trim thing, but technically it's for lightweight, right? And it's not a very lightweight vehicle, but it looks pretty cool, right? This paint is crazy. There are 7 different paint colors available. Front end here, yes, really, really aggressive. Is it pretty and beautiful like the Emira? I don't think so. It really has elements of the Urus. A lot of people compare it to that, just very angular and angry looking. This is 23-inch wheels. We're riding on 23-inch wheels. There are base 22-inch wheels available with like carbon inserts, but these are the big 23s and actually fit the overall size of this SUV quite nicely. We got huge brakes down here. Also, you can option carbon ceramic brakes on it. There's carbon fiber around the wheel arches there, and you see that's all the different sensors that can retract. We'll show that in a second. More cameras here, carbon fiber side view mirrors. There's a lidar cluster up there. You see the door handles are flush, so we're going to go ahead and unlock. You can see that. So you come up to the driver's side door. There's a little like triangle there. We hold it here. Door handles pop out. The mirrors are opening, and there's the interior, which we will get to in a moment. The interior is crazy, guys. Soft closed doors, let it latch there. We have a charge door here on the driver's side, just a little press there. It powers open. This is the Euro spec model, so you see the European charger type. Go ahead and close that. Again, 23-inch wheels. That's pretty crazy. Massive, massive wheels. Coming around back, we've got these two little aero fins and another lidar cluster here, and these are designed to direct airflow down to this little spoiler, but this has active aero. This will go up. I'll show that in a second when we hop inside. We have the big light bar out back, the Lotus lettering here, more carbon fiber down here. And then these are also functional too. You can see the tire, so it's letting air flow out of this wheel well here. So a lot of aerodynamic sculpting on this. Even this fin here, the more you look, the more you discover. That's a full pass-through here coming in from this side. So that is fully functional too. And then a little bit of a carbon fiber lip back here. And the paint, I mean, just, I hope the camera is capturing them, but in person, under the sunlight, you got so much of the pink sheen, but then if I look over this line on this side, it's more of like a bluish gray, and then it's really pink here, metallic. Crazy, crazy paint on this Lotus Eletre. With that, let's hop inside. We'll go ahead and turn the vehicle on. Oh yeah, another camera, another camera. We could count the cameras and spend lots of time running around the car. All right, I want to show a couple more things on the exterior first. So before we get really carried away on the interior, if I go to settings, drive mode, I'm going to go into off-road. So let's go to the highest ride height mode. I'll show you that. But then we can also go here, and I'm going to put the spoiler up. So we tap that. We'll go all the way to P2. You can actually hear the spoiler extending. So we're in off-road mode with the spoiler up, which is not the typical combination, obviously, downforce and ride height. But so this spoiler goes up. It can go up at speed, or it can manually control it. And that's quite a bit of actuation right there. The entire piece comes back there. So active aero on the Eletre. And then we are in off-road highest ride height mode. So take a look at that. More ground clearance. Now I'm going to drop it all the way to the lowest one. We'll just put it into track mode. I'll put the spoiler onto P1, and then we'll go ahead into track mode, which will automatically lower the suspension. And just like that, we are in the lowest ride height mode for the air suspension. It does that automatically in track mode, but in other modes, you can manually decide what ride height you would like. And now let's take a look at the rear wing in position 1. So slightly lower, it comes out a little bit. Really cool. So it's got 3 different positions for that active rear wing. We're also going to open up the lidar. So that little lidar pops up, and then the side one's there. Little door retracts, and then that pops out too. So we have 4 different lidar sensors. One on that fender, one over here, the cluster up there on top, and then there's that one in the back in between those 2 little aero wing fins. And then let's take a look at the front trunk here. Pioneers since 1948. That's a cool little Easter egg. Eletre. So it's a very, very small front trunk here. Putting a couple things in there. At least it still has a front trunk, which is nice. SUVs have to be practical, right? Even electric hyper SUVs. We've got this little cover back here. Got my backpack in here. It's got a decent amount of space, but this is really cool too. See these buttons here? I can lower the rear suspension, air suspension, for ease of putting things into the trunk. Look how much the rear ends up dropping down. This is already in the lowest ride height mode, but then it goes even lower with the press of the button here, and you press the up. It'll make its way back up again. I went ahead and moved over to some shade so we can better see the interior and this main center screen. We're gonna spend probably 5 minutes checking out the main 15.1-inch OLED infotainment screen. So we have the cameras pulled up right now. We'll go ahead and exit out of that. The graphics on this screen are truly amazing. It's powered by Unreal Engine, and it renders everything in real time. Look as I just swipe around the vehicle, how quickly it's changing. The resolution and everything is just so crazy cool. And look, when I open the door opens on the model. If I turn the headlights on, they turn on the model immediately, right? So it's all in real time, which is really, really cool. And then if I go around to the back, for example, I can tap on it here and I can control the rear wing. That's what we were doing earlier on. Position 0, it retracts. Position 2, it goes all the way up and it's got like this airflow thing coming across the back, which is really cool. controlling other aspects of the vehicle too. I mean, the graphics are so smooth and it just looks so amazing. I can open the trunk and so forth, swiping around, but there's more than just pretty graphics, right? All of your controls are pretty much through here. So we go to the settings here, everything from the vehicle, from what you want to do. We have the glass roof, which I'll show in a moment, auto hold or tire pressures, lighting, interior ambient lighting. I can change it to any of these colors. So right now it's on green. I can make it blue or red or orange, right? That's really, really cool. We'll make it green right now. It'll be probably cooler at night. The drive modes, again, look at those animations, right? So we're in track, but let's go all the way to off-road. You can see the vehicle lifting up. All the graphics are changing. I've got the rear wing up too, right? So it's actually like has it accurate. So I'm actually go ahead and put the wing down. I just want to show that again. I'll tap right there. Go back to P0. I can hear it retracting. Go back to settings. Everything is really quick. Go to range mode. Go to tour. And you see I can change the ride height independently, right? I can go from lowest, low, standard, high, highest, and tour. Same thing, sport, but sport reduces. It can either do low or lowish. You're not going to get to do off-road height in sport mode. But if you go to track, it just immediately drops all the way down to the lowest. Track is a drive mode specific to the R model. There also is an individual where we can set up different things. So I can change my active air suspension, the ride height, my power settings, steering, the active rear spoiler, and so forth. Safety, right? I can change all the different driver assistant things. I'm going to turn off lane keep assist, turn off the speed limit warning thing. The sound. This has a crazy KEF sound system, 2160 watts, 2160 watt sound system. It's like 22 speakers or 23 speakers. And you can change like the sound mode too. It's a really amazing sound system. We can control our display. There is so much to do in this screen here. Our climate settings. I can just like swipe around to double tap the air outlet to close it, tap again to open, right? So air is coming out of this outlet now, and I can actually swipe around and the animation is changing, but I can also feel the airflow changing too. And then the physical toggles here, if I change the temperature down, it goes blue here. If I go up, it's red. I'll show a couple other of those details. But this main screen here is pretty impressive. Like, everything is in this infotainment system. The graphics are truly amazing, and it actually is pretty easy to use. I mean, I've only spent a couple hours in the vehicle with the vehicle, and I've gotten pretty comfortable with it already. So this has the upgraded 23 speaker KEF sound system, 2160 watts. It's a $5,200 option, and it's one of the best, if not the best sound systems I've heard in a car. And look at the speaker design. It's got this little like flower in the middle. Really cool. So we've covered the main 15.1-inch OLED screen here running Unreal Engine, but we have a passenger display screen here, and then a similar screen here for the driver. So it's got a bunch of information, and if I go through the different drive modes, you can see, if I go into track, right, it has a little G meter there, changes some of the visual graphics, go back down through all the different drive modes. Tour, there's range mode, and there's off-road, pulls up even more off-road information. And you can see right there, that's my level of regen, which you control with these paddles. So regen up is the top part of the paddle. You can see I'm already in max, so it won't go up. If I pull the bottom paddle, it'll drop the level regen off now. So this is like, it's not a conventional paddle shifter, it's where you would find them, but you can click the top and bottom half independently, and it makes a really satisfying click, right? Really high quality materials there. On the right side here, we have the drive mode. Similarly, the top and bottom half are independent, so I can toggle up and down through the drive modes. You see the cluster here changing. So not only can you do it through the touchscreen, I can quickly jump to, I want to go straight to off-road mode, right? Or you can go work your way up and down with the paddles right here on the wheel. With the Lotus logo in the middle, this is your volume toggle up and down. We've got some cruise control settings here. Really cool design on the steering wheel too, trimmed in leather. And you see like the green ambient lighting that runs across the entire dash. There's so many levels and layers and sculpting here. The pattern around that ambient lighting stripe. The materials are also really nice. This is the ruby Napa leather interior. So this red color, we got the logo embossed there. We have some Alcantara inserts, the carbon fiber. The back of the seats are really cool. I'll show you when I hop in the second row. So you have the electronic door button here, and then there's a mechanical latch down here if something goes wrong. That will release the door. Trunk opening button there. They are soft close like I showed earlier. There we go. We have our window switches, some mirror controls over there. Another one of those speakers. This interior is properly impressive. Right here, this is where you put the little key card, but like I said, I think the US models will be coming with an actual key fob. This can be your wireless charging pad too. We have some physical toggles for your climate, and this is so cool, right? So if I toggle temperature up, this half of it turns red. Down, it turns blue. That's pretty cool. We have a couple more little climate things, lock, unlock. This is for releasing the glove box. Kind of cool, right? It's a little button there. Glove box, go ahead and close that. And then this is how you put the vehicle into park, reverse, neutral, drive. So there's no on off button. You just get in and you have to like put this thing here, the little card, and then toggle down. That's drive. Toggle up for reverse. Cameras automatically pull up. Press this for park. If you do a little halfway toggle, goes into neutral. And to get out of the car, you just literally put it in park, open a door, get out, lock it, walk away, and it turns off. We have two cup holders here. We have a little baby one and then a full-size one. This would be for smaller beverages, like a skinny tall can, maybe like a Red Bull or a Celsius energy drink. You can pop them up here. The bottom of the cup holders, when you push it down, I mean, that part, that's also trimmed in matching red leather. Like, that's quite nice. Carbon fiber interior on this vehicle here too. And then we have a pretty spacious center console bin. It's really deep. I was surprised at how deep this is. Like, wow. We've got some USB-C charging ports in there too. I'm really impressed by the interior of this Lotus Eletre. A lot of really cool details too. Take a look there, and then we have another little pioneer since 1948. The Eletre logo on the dorso. Even right here, that's carbon fiber, and the texturing on the seat controls. They did a really good job with the materials design and details on this vehicle. Coming around back to the second row, take a look at this carbon fiber trim on the back of the seat itself. More of that red leather, little carbon insert right there. Let's hop in the second row. Plenty of space, wow. Soft close second row doors, obviously. The huge panoramic roof. Oh, I forgot to show that. I'll do that when I hop back up front. We have another little screen back here to control our seats and climate and everything. So the back seats are reclining. There's also a button here, so you can recline your seats. Oh, can I do front passenger? Oh yeah, so you can move the front passenger seat from back here. That's like one of those executive rear seat things. There is an executive rear seat package where you can do like the two captain's chairs back here. This is the regular 5-seater. Wow, so they really didn't forget about the second row passengers back here at all. Oh wow, I can skip forward and back on my music too. Climate controls. This screen back here actually does quite a lot too. Same thing where you can swipe around, double tap the air outlet to close it. So, wow, okay, yeah, no more airflow. So let's check out the intelligent glass roof. We go to vehicle here. You can have auto transparency or you can manually set it. There's 10 different levels for the intelligent glass roof. So let's take a look. Right now that is fully opaque. Now I'm gonna go all the way transparent. So you can see the trees up through there. And then there's all these different levels you can go through. Here's about halfway. And then here's all the way to max where it goes kind of opaque and blurry white. And then anything in between there too, right? I'm gonna go all the way to max again to show you guys the contrast. So that is all the way see-through and then all the way opaque. That's pretty cool. All right, let's go for a drive. We're starting off in range mode, which actually puts it into front wheel drive to preserve the range, maximum efficiency. But we're on a canyon road. We're not commuting, trying to maximize our range. So let's go up into sport mode. Man, these graphics are so nice. The Eletre is definitely not the lightweight, nimble, small Lotuses we're used to, right? It's just not possible with an SUV, especially an electric SUV. They said they instilled their DNA into this. So what my interpretation of that is going to be, this is the most Lotus feeling of electric SUVs, super SUVs out there. So let's see if that's possible. It weighs around 5,800 pounds, or 2.5 Lotus Elises if you want to use that as your unit of measurement. Oh my gosh. And obviously the power is plentiful. 905 horsepower. more than double what the supercharged V6 makes in the Emira. It just really shows how the understeer. It just really shows how the dawn of electrification has made the power figures just easy, right? Lotus has the Avaya hypercar now. They have this where power is just so easy to achieve. So you have to put together all the other ingredients for a performance car, because just simply going fast in a straight line, that's not difficult anymore. So what does the Eletre R have? Active anti-roll bars. It's a really cool piece of tech, especially in like larger SUVs and crossovers. It actively resists body roll, so it allows you to stay relatively flat, and you really feel it when you're quartering, changing direction, when you have weight and the size, and the vehicle just like stays so composed. So we have that, we have the air suspension, we have rear wheel steering, and as the R model, we have a 2-speed transmission, and then we just have stupendous power. Oh my goodness, this thing is pretty ridiculous. We're on the regular steel brakes. Ooh, a little bit of understeer. You can't get away from the weight. We're on the regular steel brakes, which are fine. They're 6-piston, but for that $10,000 upgrade, you can get 10-piston carbon ceramic brakes. 5,800 pounds, 2.5 Lotus Elises. Although in the realm of like some of these EV SUVs and trucks and stuff like that, 2.5 tons, 5,800 pounds is actually not terrible. Just under, I guess, just under 3 tons. Look at the Hummer EV truck, right? I think is 10,000 pounds. This is absolutely still lightweight in comparison. So as the R model, we do have another mode. We have a track mode. So we go up to individual and go into track mode. This should be the most aggressive. Whoa! Okay, the little key card just flew away. I don't know where that went. I will have to find that later. What? This is like ballistically quick. Wow. Okay, all right, let's do some Lotus things, right? Hit some curvy turns. How do you behave? Whoa. Man, there is definitely heft. There is size. I was just driving a Lotus Emira last week, so I have a very, very fresh memory of what a Lotus is like. And I'm sorry, this is nothing, there's nothing in common beyond the badge. The only string I can pull between the two of them is they are some of the best handling and driving in their respective classes. This is a different level of rapid. The Emira, even with the supercharged V6, is still very much a like momentum car, right? At no point did it feel like really, really powerful fast. It was still a little sports car, but the feedback and the balance was so nice. This thing is one of the quickest and most powerful SUVs out there, and the power is just stupendous, unending. But you cannot get away from that mass in size. I mean, it's while it may be relatively lighter for a vehicle of its segment and class, still big and heavy. I mean, 23-inch wheels. Wow. I did have another performance EV crossover up in these canyon roads a couple weeks ago, the Kia EV6 GT, which when you look at the price point of this is an absolute bargain, right? At a fraction of the cost. And it was really quick and I liked it a lot. But this is a different tier. It is like going from a regular sports car to a supercar. That was a regular sporty EV crossover to a super or hyper, if you really want to get exaggerating from the Lotus standpoint, electric SUV. It does handle its body roll really well with those active anti-roll bars. And it's bizarre doing this and not having sound. Honestly, the thing I hear the most are the tires. So I'm very aware of like where the limit is for the tires, because I can hear them as I'm going through some turns. There's no engine, there's no exhaust, it's just that. There's no augmented electric noises. I just hear tires screaming for mercy. Definitely feels like it trends a little bit towards understeer. Whew. Okay. I'm gonna go back into sport mode for a little bit and catch my breath. So Lotus is also going to be building the Emira, which is like this in sedan form. So even lower center of gravity, hopefully a little bit lighter, smaller, and it looks crazy gorgeous too. And my impressions of this are already really positive. So in like sedan form, that might be like a Porsche Taycan Turbo S type of competitor. I think that's going to be even better, right? Wow. Okay. Let's talk about value. How much does an Eletre R cost? Well, the base one starts at $107,000 US. So they've announced US pricing. And something to note, in America, we're only going to get the base Eletre and the Eletre R. In Europe, there was the S. There was the mid-tier one. So I was actually playing around on a configurator. I'm like, where's the S? We don't get the S here. It's just the base one with only 603 horsepower, still does 60 in like 4.5 seconds. That's 107 grand starting. The R starts at $145,000. And then I went a little bit wild on the configurator and built it to 195 grand. I was adding carbon ceramic brakes, exterior carbon pack, interior carbon pack, driver assistance, all the different things, right? So you can option it just under $200,000 for this electric hyper SUV. And if you think about it, it kind of doesn't have any direct competitors right now. This car just sits in its own segment. If you look at internal combustion gas competitors, the Lamborghini Urus always comes to mind as like the super SUV, and that's going to be much more expensive in the 200s. And then if you step down in gas, maybe you go to X5M competition, X6M competition, stuff like that. You do get a lot for your money there, but this is, again, just another tier up. It's very different, not only because it's electric, but Lotus has its own kind of boutique brand feel, and the interior on this is pretty impressive. The tech, the materials, the design, like, this has to be one of the craziest SUV, or actually any car interiors I've been in quite a while. Are there a couple little things I think they still want to work out? Yeah, but this is a pre-production European model. And of course, it'll be supporting over-the-air updates and things like that. What else does this compete against? If you look at electric SUVs, right, the Rivian R1S would come to mind, but that's much more like lifestyle, adventure, everyday focused, and total different price point. They're $100,000. It's half the price of an Eletre R. There is no insane high performance. The Lucid Gravity is coming. If they do a Sapphire version of that, possibly. The Lucid Air Sapphire is apparently absolutely ridiculous. You guys have seen all the coverage on that. One thing that actually came to mind for me was the GMC Hummer EV truck, a super truck, because it has a similar ethos of just electrification for the sake of ridiculousness, right? The thing has a watts to freedom, a WTF mode, 1,000 horsepower, why not, right? It's, again, more off-road focused, it's absolutely massive, and it doesn't compete against this, but it has a similar personality in that it's just like, we're gonna do everything we want to do in this electric platform and go for it. That's what this Lotus Eletre is, right? It's just like, you know what? Can we do this? Can we do this? Can we do this? Yes, do all of it, everything, right? It's just so over the top. So is a 150 to, actually, you're gonna have to put options on it. So 170, 180, $190,000 Lotus Eletre R a good value? If you want something that nobody else has, you want a crazy interior, a lot of technology that's relatively future-proofing itself with all the lidar sensors. It's got 34 sensors. It's like 4 lidar, 12 cameras, and 18 other sensors. It's absolutely coated in technology. Sound system, one of the best that I have ever heard. The screen graphics and infotainment is very good. Like the rendering and everything, amazing. Materials and the quality in here are top-notch, befitting the price point. Like the design and things like that, I am hugely impressed with. We take a brief intermission to see Josefa's reaction to the Lotus Eletre.
Oh, Jesus! Oh my God! Wow. I can't. Oh my God! This
Hold on tight.
Insane! Oh, jeez! Oh, wow.
Lotus says this is the world's first electric hyper SUV, so.
Oh my God. It's crazy. Is this all-wheel drive?
Yes, all-wheel drive, rear-wheel steering. Like,
this is insane.
It's got active anti-roll bars, and for like a 5,800-pound SUV to take turns like this is pretty ridiculous.
Oh my God. It just ate. Oh, wow.
Oh, you just ate. All right,
I just
cool.
ate. Wow. Okay, stop. I'm done.
You tapping out?
I'm tapping out.
You're tapping out?
I am tapping out. Oh my god. Jeez.
So the Lotus Eletre R is sufficient at scaring the crap out of your friends.
Yes.
So
I agree. I'm tapping out.
the styling, I don't love it. It's definitely angry and aggressive looking, but not like conventionally pretty. Look at the Emira, the Avaya. They're absolutely gorgeous. This not my favorite, but it definitely is a step above any other performance EV SUV I've driven. It's just a ridiculous machine. Up in the canyons, that was wild. The interior is crazy. Is it a hyper SUV? Hyper carries a lot of connotations, right? Especially in like the car enthusiast world. You think it's the Bugattis are hyper cars, right? Koenigsegg is a hyper car. It is a ridiculous super SUV. Do I feel Lotus DNA in it? In that it drives crazy well. I mean, for its size and the way it handled, and I did things in the canyon in this vehicle that I did not expect to do at all. After driving this, my biggest hope here is Lotus builds luxury performance EVs like this. They take the possibility of these platforms and really do all the details and execute this really well with all this technology and make a ton of money building this. The Eletre, the Amaya, build as many as you want, kind of branch off that way and still build cars like the Emira. I would love to see a successor to the Emira. It's probably not going to happen. But imagine if they had the money from building this EV mass volume produced ones and they could still build like true internal combustion, light, nimble, enthusiast sports cars. To me, that would be the ideal scenario. But as we sit right now, you can buy an Emira and have a ton of fun. Supercharged V6 manual, that's the way I ordered an Emira. Or you can also have one of these in your garage. It's like the two sides of Lotus now. And I'm definitely leaving this quite impressed. It does cost nearly $200,000, but it's got 900 horsepower, a crazy interior, an amazing sound system, and will definitely scare you a little bit in the canyons when you're going quickly. It is disturbingly fast. Disturbingly fast. I hope you guys enjoyed this review of the Lotus Eletre R. Check out some of my other Lotus videos, everything else on the channel. I appreciate all the support. Thanks for watching.